Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. It's Tuesday, June the 13th. And once again, I'm joined by Mr. Jesse Schule of jesseschule.com, Mr. Sean Higgs of picksandparleys.net. I'm Ross Benjamin of rbwins.com. You're watching the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast on the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel, brought to you by gamblersworld.com. Speaking of gamblersworld.com, folks, visit that site. They're our sponsor. We appreciate any support you can give them. And Jesse, and our podcasts as well are up at gamblersworld.com on a daily basis. I don't know what we could do with Sean. I'm not sure if Craig would have a problem putting your podcast up. Well, we'll discuss that after the show. But if he can't, you could find Sean at picksandparleys.net, his midday money podcast. Great show, folks. A lot of audience participation, pretty low key and pretty flexible there for Sean. And he's been doing that for quite a long time now. Quite popular show. And you could find that right on the picksandparleys.net homepage or Picks and Parleys YouTube channel or various. If it's on the internet, you could find it at most streaming options on the internet, streaming platforms, I should say. Right, Sean? Am I conveying it?
Yep, all the podcast spots, it's there.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, let me ask you first, Jesse, how you doing, man?
Hanging in there. We hit the under last night, basketball game. That was my only play for premium clients. A little bit disappointed with the Aaron Gordon lack of scoring, but I was really disappointed to see Michael Porter Jr. taking a ton of key shots in the fourth quarter. But take the good with the bad. After game 2, I said Denver in 5.
Yep.
And Denver in 5 indeed. So
at money line odds of what, Jesse? He was like plus 350, wasn't it?
Yeah, 325.
335.
335. Great call by Mr. Schule, as usual. So people tend to forget about, those types of picks and how we've done over the last 12 days because we got a little bit of negative feedback after yesterday. And, look, we went 2-2 yesterday. I lost, but these two guys went 2-1 combined. So, look, folks, we're not going to win every day nor every week. I think you're getting a little spoiled here. And one gentleman chimed in and said, you guys, I should be charging you. Let me remind you, sir, these are free. You're not getting charged anything. Now, if you buy our premium picks and we lose for you, we have ways around that to take care of you. At picksandparleys.net, you get your money back. At rbwins.com, you'll get a credit, which would be the exact amount of your purchase price if you lose. And then Jesse, I'm sure Jesse handles things with his clients. None of us are greedy, folks, and none of us are unfair. So if you're reasonable with us, we'll be reasonable with you. But our track records, all three of us, speak for itself. And again, we've been on fire for 12 weeks. And hey, we're going to cool off on occasion. And over the last week, that's been the case. But it's not like it's been horrible, right, guys?
Ross, the complaints department at jesseschule.com, I had to lay everybody off. They had nothing to do.
I can't even follow that up.
It's like being a Maytag repairman. Anyway, go ahead, Sean.
What am I saying after that? I got no good line after that one.
That's hard to talk.
You worried about me being quiet and running away? That's it. I'm done. I had to lay off my complaint department. No complaints.
And there's a winner in itself, Sean being speechless on the replies. So
doesn't happen often.
All right, the NBA finals are done. The NBA season's done. I finished number 1, even though I lost my last 2 picks in the NBA playoffs or finals. I still finished number 1 at Sports Memo and in the NBA and money earned. And I was number 1 last year in money earned at Sports Memo. So I'm very happy with what I accomplished during the NBA finals. These gentlemen here, Jesse had a terrific NBA finals and Sean had a winning. Jesse had a terrific NBA playoffs, I should say. The finals, the big picture, the playoffs. And Sean also had a winning NBA postseason. So congratulations, guys. Great job. Well done. And again, folks, you won't find many better handicappers on the planet than what we have on this channel. There are some as good, but hard-pressed to find many that are better. In any event, Jesse, we're going to talk Major League Baseball today, buddy. And you're going to be looking at the Brewers and the Twins, and it'll be Corbin Burnes for the Milwaukee Brewers, slated to be on the hill, and the inconsistent Pablo Lopez for the Minnesota Twins. Right now, as we speak, according to DraftKings, Minnesota is a minus 115 money line favorite, and the total is either 7.5 or 8, sort of split down the middle when you look at the plethora of sports books that are giving out lines these days. So what do you got, Jesse?
Well, it's hard to bet on either of these two teams as a favorite, to be honest with you, Ross. What the Brewers are, a game back in the NL Central, and the Twins are actually first place with a 500 record. Neither of these two teams inspire a lot of confidence. I'm not really big on betting on Corbin Burnes this year as a big name guy that won a Cy Young. But you look at his numbers and he's been pretty consistent. He hasn't been great, but he's been very consistent. 5-4, 3.36 ERA, road, home splits, same, recent compared to the full body of work, very, very consistent. So you sort of know what you're going to get out of Corbin Burnes. Lopez, on the other hand, is home away splits, not so pretty. Got a 6.11 ERA at home. The Twins got some injury concerns. Joey Gallo's out. Polanco and Buxton are both out. And they don't have the deepest lineup anyways. They're not exactly a star-studded battery. Missing those key players, I'm going to lean towards the road dog on the run line. You can get Milwaukee plus a half, minus 135 for the first 5 innings. And essentially you're getting a Cy Young winner who's been consistent this season, plus a half for the first 5 against a guy with a 6.11 ERA at home this season. I'll take that, Russ.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, especially if you look at Corbin Burnes, the term I like to use is good form, and that's what he's been in over his last 3 starts. A 171 ERA, a microscopic 0.71 whip, and you guys know how I like whip. More importantly, averaging 7 innings pitched per start. So he's not reliant on his bullpen like a lot of starting pitchers are, because he gives you length. And Sean, somebody's got to win the AL Central and NL Central, and both of these teams have really come back to the pack. And Milwaukee, in particular, coming off that embarrassing 3-game sweep at home. They were swept at home, I should say, by the Oakland A's in the Minnesota Twins. 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 and 6, the last 8. So what do you got, Sean? What do you think of Jesse's pick?
Well, let's just start with the A's. They won again last night as a big dog against Tampa Bay. So they got a little win streak. We can't, break out the A's here. Break them up. Let's go. They could, this is like 1990 all again with the Bash brothers and Ricky Henderson and Bob Welsh winning 25 games.
Slow down, brothers.
Okay. I agree with Milwaukee. I got actually in the midday money, I got the Brewers plus 105 here at Burnes. And I'm a little down on Burnes. I don't know if he's hurt or whatever. I mean, he was just so dominant the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And it really came down to strikeouts. I mean, like 250 strikeouts and like 180 in, like just ridiculous kind of splits. And this year, the strikeouts are really not there.
Less than a strikeout per inning. So.
Yeah. And usually he was at like 2 an inning before.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I saw he had like 13 or 15 hit batters last year. He's got like 2 or 3. Maybe he's not pitching inside. I don't know what the deal is. But that being said, Jesse called him, as I guess Jesse's giving his name away, Mr. Consistency, because that's what Burnes has been all year. It's kind of like you're going to get 7. He'll give up. He had a couple bad starts, first, second, third start, I think, where he gave up some runs. But since it's like 2 runs, 3, like typical kind of anybody you want to come in and go 7 and give up 2, give your team a chance to win. And I'm with Jesse on the splits. I'm a big split kind of guy. I love my whips, and Burnesy road whip. Under 1, he's got like a 180 something or 193 batting average against. Like those are kind of things I like. And the Twins are a all or nothing team. They're a bad hitting team on the road. At home, they're a little bit better, but they're still a bottom tier hitting team. A lot of strikeouts. Let's go. I looked at actually a burn strikeout total, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to stick with Milwaukee plus the 105.
There you go. Milwaukee minus 105 is Sean's lean, but Jesse's
Plus
Plus
yes.
105.
Plus
105.
Daddy is not bet minus money.
That's right. That's right. My apology, Sean. And and Jesse minus a half a run, minus
135
in the first 5 innings for Milwaukee. Yeah, I mean Pablo Lopez is one of those guys. I go back to his days with the Marlins. He hasn't changed. He'll throw a gem like he did in his last start at Tampa Bay. He goes 7 and only gives up 1 earned run against a power-laden team like Tampa Bay. And Corbin Burns, he's just been consistent, especially over the last 3 starts. You're right, Sean. He's not as dominating as he was over the last couple seasons, but a lot of pitchers would like to have his stat line,
Yeah. I think they'll trade him at the deadline. I think they'll trade him. I don't think they're going to pay him.
Yeah.
That whole thing over the winter with him, they kind of blamed him for not making a play. It's like, really? This guy had like a
Yeah. And
I think he's out of there.
Also keep in mind 2 starts versus Milwaukee last year for Pablo Lopez. 14 innings pitched, 7 innings pitched on each occasion, and only allowed 1 earned run on 5 hits while walking just 3. So he does have some good history against Milwaukee. That was last year. You never know with Pablo Lopez. So I agree with Jesse. I'm going to lean toward the more consistent starting pitcher, which eliminates the bullpens out of the equation in the first 5 bet that he made. And Sean, he's willing to go the entire 9 innings with this pick. And I agree with that as well. So again, there you have it on the Milwaukee and Minnesota game, all over the Milwaukee Brewers here. All right, Sean, the Miami Marlins got cooled off a little bit last night, losing 8-1 at Seattle. They're now 8-2 over the last 10, but let's not get carried away. The Marlins had a very weak schedule that saw them win 8 of 9. I believe they played Kansas City, Detroit, and the White Sox during that time, or Kansas. Yeah, whatever. It was against very weak teams. And Seattle, on the other hand, I don't know, up and down, vastly underachieving this year. George Kirby on the mound for Seattle. It'll be Cabrera for Miami. And right now, as we speak, we got Seattle as a minus 140 money line favorite. What do you got for us, Sean?
Yeah, and I'm going to keep this one really simple because, I had Miami last night, and they had come in winning 8-10, playing good ball, and they were a little dog there. And what happens? You get one hit and give up a couple errors to boot. I'm one of those guys where I see a team play bad defense, whether 1 error, 2 error, 3 errors. 2 errors is bad enough. I look for a bounce back on simple plays, like make the play out there. What are you doing, fellas? The fact you're 1 hit, I always look for a team to kind of come back for something like that. And an embarrassing, 8-1's kind of a bad loss, but the 1 hit is what stands out in my mind. You're basically, what are we doing here? And Cabrera, I like this kid. Now, if you want to grab over strikeouts, I think I saw a 7 on him. I looked real fast at him. This kid's really good. I think he's 19 years old.
Yeah,
phenomenal. And I do like Kirby. I thought about the under here, but I'm going to come back to the Marlins at the plus money here because I see the 1 hit. I got to be like, you know what? As bad as, and I like Miami because I love their pitching staff. Even the guy, Pablo Lopez I liked him with the Marlins. I like, Sixto Sanchez, although he's on the injured list. Alcantara, you have just got Garrett. They have such a bunch of young, good pitchers, no batters, and then they had a nice little run of hits. I'm expecting the bats to come back. You got a guy hitting 400, hitting leadoff.
Yeah,
De La Cruz is a nice little.
That's the best kept secret in baseball, isn't it?
When they traded him for Lopez, I'm like, I kind of liked him. I'm like, all right, you need kind of pitching. But I'm like, how do you give away a guy who hits like 335, 340? In a day and age today where people hit like 240, like, that's all right, it's 240 because it's 25. Like, give me the guy who gets on base. You can't, if nobody's on base, there's going to be no runs for you when you hit a homer. But I digress to that. I said I was going to keep it short. 1 hitter, forget it. Give me Cabrera and the Marlins to get it done here.
There you go. Miami on the money line, and they are plus 120. So is that right, Sean? Miami plus 120, yeah?
Let me get a live one here for you.
Yep. And by the way,
That's-
folks, while Sean's looking that up, Miami 8-2 in their last 10, 12-4 in their last 16, and 5-0 in their last 5 following a loss. They have not lost back-to-back games since May the 23rd.
that's a good number, 120. That's across the board right there.
Yeah, Miami plus 120. A lot of betting value there. But we'll see what Mr. Schule has to say. Yeah, Miami, Jesse, 5-0 in their last 5 after a loss. In Seattle, 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 0-4 in their last 4 following a win. So what do you got, buddy?
Perhaps it's a homer pick for me, Ross. I grew up in Vancouver, and growing up in Vancouver, you get Mariners games for free on TV. And so I've been a big fan of the Mariners. But, I don't make picks based on that kind of stuff. I'm looking at the splits. Cabrera has been lights out in recent starts. But you look at his splits, he's 5-0 at home. He's 0-4 on the road. His ERA on the road is 5.91. And apparently, after tossing 5 innings in his last start, they pulled him because of a blister. So, what is the status of that blister? How long is he going to go today? That remains to be seen. The Mariners are 8-3 in their last 11 home games. Kirby's last home start tossed 8 scoreless against the New York Yankees. I looked at Kirby's starts. He's got a couple home starts where he got rocked, but the majority of them, he's
solid,
been
man.
Yeah, better than solid, stellar. Like he's either, 8 scoreless or he gives up 7 runs or something in like a couple of them, which, so if you look at his overall body of work at home, his ERA is, 3 or 4 or whatever. But keep in mind, the majority of those have been really nice outings for him. So I'm going to go with Seattle. I'm a little, obviously Miami doesn't hit a lot. They don't score a lot. Cabrera with the split stats and the potential blister issue is enough for me to take Seattle at this price.
All right. So Jesse likes the Seattle Mariners here in this spot, minus 140. Yeah, you look at Kirby's outings, to Jesse's point. His last outing at San Diego, he allowed 5 earned runs on 11 hits in just 3 2/3 innings. Then he shuts out the Yankees in 8 innings. Then he goes a home start against Pittsburgh. He allows 7 earned runs in 4 2/3. But prior to that, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 quality starts in a row. Quality starts, folks, are anything that are 6 innings pitched or more and 3 earned runs or less allowed on each occasion. And he did that 8 straight times, but the last 2 of 3 have been a little bit inconsistent. And shutting out the Yankees maybe last year or the year before was a monumental feat, but that is not the same Yankees team. This Yankee squad right now can't hit their way out of a paper bag, especially with Aaron Judge out of the middle of the lineup. It really hurts them. And Rizzo right now is slumping badly. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to have a lean toward the over in this one, guys. The number is just 7. And if I'm correct on that, let me double check that so I'm not misinforming you. Yes, the number is 7. And I just think neither one of these starting pitchers are consistent right now. And both teams should be able to put together some run production that will go over 7. So that's my lean. Okay. But the official pick here for Sean Higgs, he likes the Miami Marlins plus 122 over at Caesars right now. You could find them. So make sure you check, shop your lines, folks, if you have multiple sports books, and obviously pick out the best one. All right, I'm going to look at the Toronto Blue Jays and the Baltimore Orioles. I didn't assign this one to Jesse, so he wasn't tempted to be a homer here, even though we know he doesn't do that. But in any event, it'll be Chris Bassett on the mound for the Toronto Blue Jays, and it will be Dean Kramer for the Baltimore Orioles. Bassett, over his last 7 starts, has been solid. 2.02 ERA and an 0.86 WHIP, and he averages 7 innings pitched per start over those last 7 outings. Again, that's important because it eliminates Toronto's bullpen out of the equation. And when you do use your bullpen, if you're only depending on them for 2 or 3 innings, you're going to get the best of the relievers in that situation. Dean Kramer, on the other hand, his last 4 a 5.71 ERA. Overall this year, a 4.89 ERA and a 1.44 WHIP. Those are uninspiring numbers. Since 2022, he has pitched well against Toronto. I will say that. But, here's the thing. If you look at his stat line, 4 versus Toronto since 2022, 3.00 ERA, but 146 WHIP, which leads me to believe he's very fortunate that ERA is that low when you look at his WHIP. That tells me he's certainly wiggled out of a lot of jams, and that's eventually going to catch up to him. And the Toronto Blue Jays, 10-4 in their last 14. Baltimore is 20-12 at home this year, but just 5-5 in their last 5 at home, 10 at home, excuse me. And the Toronto Blue Jays have won 4 straight away games. It will make Jesse happy to know that I'm going to go with the Toronto Blue Jays minus 125 over, minus 135 over the Baltimore Orioles. Jesse, your thoughts on your home team?
Well, it's funny you mentioned Kremer and his stats, and the fact that he might not be as good as his stats would indicate. Because what I've got written down here is he faced the Blue Jays once already this year. 5 1/3 innings, he gave up 1 run. That sounds fantastic, right? Until you look at the fact that he gave up 9 hits.
Yep.
5 1/3 innings. So very, very fortunate as you to. And I kind of, as much as Bassett's been good, both these teams score runs, and I expect the weather to be pretty good in Baltimore today. I would have a lean toward the over.
I'm sorry, Jess. Say it again.
I'd have a lean toward the over.
The over, you said?
Yeah.
I'm having trouble with your mic, buddy. Just so you know. So Jesse likes Toronto and Baltimore over the total of 8.5. Because they're playing at a hitter's ballpark at Camden Yards in Baltimore. Both teams with plenty of offensive potential. My official pick is on Toronto minus 135, and we'll hear from Sean on what he thinks about this matchup.
I grabbed the Orioles last night at plus 130, so it's come down a little bit now. The plus money is a little less, but this team I just think continues to be overlooked. I mean, they're 41-24. No one, and I get it. I get the whole kind of smoke and mirror kind of thing. Yes, it's like you're getting wins where you shouldn't get wins, and but that's a sign of a team that, maybe they got a little leprechaun on their shoulder here. Like sometimes you need stuff like that to go on little kind of runs, and not that it's going to continue, but it's gone on for 60 games already. Let's not forget last year as well. This team was kind of surprised. We're like, oh, they'll come back to earth. Well, they didn't come back to earth. They just traded away a couple pieces, and you think, oh, all right, that's a little weird. But they come out this year, really did nothing in the offseason, right? They bring in Kyle Gibson. Like Kyle Gibson's a pitcher you bring in. You could have got maybe they'll make a big move for somebody else. Home dog, I'm taking them. I take them on the road when they're underdog. If they lose, I don't care. I'll take them. They're 20 games over or whatever on the road. The third best road record or wins in baseball. They're a tough little team. Home doggy, plus dollar daddy's in the house. Let's go.
So Sean is going against me with his lean, and that's okay, folks. We're not going to agree all the time, but all right. So let's recap. Each individual will tell the folks who they had as a free pick today, because we just threw a lot of information at you. We each had opinions on each other's games, but let's talk about the official picks. Jesse, tell the folks who you like, and then tell them how you've been doing and what you may have coming up this week.
All right. Well, I'm taking the Brewers plus a half, minus 135 for the first 5 innings, because I cannot pass up a chance to get a Cy Young winner as an underdog in a 5 innings matchup against a team with 3 key injuries and a subpar starting pitcher. And what do I got going on? Well, NBA finals are over. NHL's likely over tonight. It's baseball, CFL, soccer for me. But if you look at my Twitter page, you'll see the dog days of summer have been kind to me over the last 5 years. And I got 50% off all weekly and monthly packages at jesseschule.com. So if you got $99 in your pocket, you come see me at jesseschule.com. You'll sure be glad you did.
Yeah, I mean, the June, July, August special again, Jesse. So folks realize the value and what you're offering. Tell the folks how you've done over the last 5 years, if you have those specific numbers. And again, repeat what you got going.
60% winners for 78,720 units. That's almost 80 grand for dime players and $8,000 for $100 bettors. It's been consistent. It's roughly 60% a year, $3,000 a month profit units. It's not a guarantee by any means. June's off to a bit of a shaky start, but based on history, I'm pretty confident, and a lot of people are pretty confident in me. So, and if you look at those NBA playoff stats from this year and last year with those dates on my Twitter page, you can't argue with that. I mean, that's
absolutely.
That is absolutely proof that history does, in fact, repeat itself.
Well, folks, if you're not confident in Jesse, I could tell you, me and Sean are. And I don't know.
Man.
You need to have your head examined if you say, anything negative in that regard. And, after 5 years to hit 60% over that period of time, it's not a fluke. It's not like the Oakland A's going on a 6-game win streak, which was highly unlikely to start with and probably won't be attained again all year long. A lot of baseball to be played, but I'm trying to make a correlation here. And Sean, tell the folks who you had on your free pick today again, and also the same thing, what you got coming up, how you've been doing, and anything else you want the folks to know.
Looking for a little Marlin bounce back here today, plus 120 after having a one-hitter thrown against them. I'm looking for some offense and what to go forward. I got Vegas puck line tonight, and it's all MLB. Mostly all MLB anyway for me right after the NCAA tournament. But I did, I finished up a winning basketball season, 36-32, plus 477 in NBA. I'll take it because I don't like, 36-32. That's like a weekend of baseball for me. But a lot of baseball, and we're 2 weeks away from July, so we'll have some college and NFL futures starting to come up pretty soon that I'll be talking about on the Midday Money Show 7 days a week on your favorite podcast channels. And you can find Twitter, Mr. Sean Higgs. Come say hello.
Yeah, we're going to pivot and start talking about some football very soon. But right now it's all about baseball, and it's all about the gimmick league, Canadian Football League. I know it's going to piss Jesse off, but anytime you get 12 guys in motion all flying to the line of scrimmage at the same time, 12 players on the field, midfield is the 55-yard line. A rouge is 1 point after a missed extra point or missed field goal if you can't return it out of the end zone. Other than that, there's no rule changes.
All that being said, Ross, it still beats the hell out of the WNBA.
It still beats the hell out of the USFL, which is another gimmick league. At least Canadian Football League is a well-established league and has been for many, many years successfully. And I'm joking because I have a lot of good friends up north of the border, great people up in Canada, Jesse being one of them. But you could find me at rossbenjaminsports.com, rbwins.com. That's where all my premium paid selections are released. Again, coming off a great NBA playoff where I ended up number one at Sports Memo, not only this year, but last year. But that's behind us. Now it's baseball season. And I'm on a 38-26 all sports run, 59%. My dime players over that course of time up $9,570. And also on an 8-4 run in Major League Baseball, which is starting to heat up. So rbwins.com is where you could find me, Jesse Schule at jesseschule.com, Sean Higgs at picksandparleys.net. Don't forget to go to both of these gentlemen when it comes to their own personal videos. Jesse over at his YouTube page, Jesse Schule, or you could find him at gamblersworld.com on a daily basis. And also Sean Higgs' Midday Money podcast every day, aired noon Eastern time, live 12 p.m. Eastern time at picksandparleys.net homepage, their YouTube page, and other various streaming platforms throughout the internet. Until the next time, folks, for Jesse Schule and Sean Higgs, we like to wish, I forgot. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, don't forget to do so. It's absolutely free. There's no hidden agenda. And
But what do you got to do? You got to ask. We're supposed to do something with the button.
the like button. Yeah. Jesse?
I thought that's okay.
That like
We got to do something with Jesse's mic, but he said smash that like button. All
Yeah,
right.
we lost him on the smash.
Yeah. Until the next time, for Jesse Schule, Sean Higgs, and Ross Benjamin, take care and God bless, folks.